and the Brooklyn Nets. They was announced to be the Christmas game. What you think about that?
Man, that is gonna be explosive. God willing, everybody is healthy. I think the one thing that holds this back from being a firecracker is everybody's health. This also reminds me of the same Christmas game when it was Golden State Warriors versus the Cavs, except everybody's kind of in different places now. You know what I mean?
Now we talking about the one with KD with his first year in Golden State and Kyrie hit the game winner.
Yeah, that one was crazy when he was gonna hit it, and then Richard Jefferson, his dirty ass, did what he did. Like, you know what I mean? That game is like a classic if we talk Christmas games. So I just feel it's the same type of energy, kind of. You know what I mean? Where everybody's just waiting to see what the hell happens. You know?
So, yeah, this was tailor-made, man, because, I mean, of course, I think a lot of people would have liked to see the Lakers and the Clippers, Kawhi and LeBron, if Kawhi was going to be at full strength. But you really don't get no better as far as storylines than KD, Kyrie, James Harden, Russ, AD, and LeBron. Like, it's so many of those guys that's played with each other, Melo and Russ, KD and Russ, LeBron and Kyrie. Like, it's ridiculous how this thing is going to pan out on Christmas, bro. This shit is going to be so lit. Good God.
Woo! Man, listen, it's kind of a storyline that writes itself. You just need to roll the Bulls out, man. We need to see what's going on. We got to see how this thing working, you know? Let's see.
When we got games like that, does that necessarily or automatic? I know nothing is really guaranteed, but does that kind of put you in the place of a preview of what the finals is going to be like when you got a game like this?
You know what's crazy? If this was before 2019 and it was the same kind of roster, I would say, yeah. The past 2 years have been completely unpredictable. Right. I'm a Lakers head, right? But I knew going into this previous season, we were kind of shaky. You know what I mean? And we ain't make it again. And the finals was the Bucks versus the Suns. So it's like, you don't know what to expect. Everybody moving around, bringing up. We still don't know what's going on with Ben Simmons. Like, there's so many moving parts. So at this point, I would say if things were in a different dynamic and we weren't still iffy about how crazy things are going to actually be, I would have been like, this is the finals preview. But the fact that it's been so unpredictable the past 2 years, I would say in an ideal situation, this would be the finals preview. I don't think Giannis is going to let that happen. I'm going to just be real. I feel like he might feel as if people are going to taint his ring. He's going to come out again. I feel like people are going to sleep on the Bucks again. And, you know, they got something to prove. So I would love it to be, you know, Brooklyn and the Lakers. But I don't know. I feel like there's other teams that's just not going to go for it, you know?
Well, I agree that the playing field is getting tougher now because Dame Lillard, he's still, you know, he's still signed with Portland, but you don't know what Dame Lillard is going to request in the near future. And he definitely could be an X factor on a certain team, but you got the Miami Heat picking up Kyle Lowry and PJ Tucker from Milwaukee. Like, their additions have been great. And we just seen some other teams, like you mentioned, step it up in the offseason with trades and in the draft. But, you know, at the end of the day, I really feel like the Lakers should be favored coming out the West.
Yeah.
And I got Miami coming out the East because I feel like you can't win a championship without playing defense in a 7-game series. And I'm not sold that the Brooklyn Nets is a defensive squad. I remember you and I had this conversation last year when Brooklyn first came together, and I asked you, I said, who would get the blame at the end of the year if Brooklyn was to have one of those Clippers of 2020 type of collapses? And, you know, I'm just not sold that Brooklyn is that team automatically to beat. I know, like you said, Giannis is still going to have something to say about it. But, you know, this will be an important game. This will set some type of tone Christmas Day, LeBron and the Lakers versus KD and the Brooklyn Nets. What do you think about Russell signing with the Lakers?
Man, I feel like he's kind of the X factor in this situation. Individually, he's a great player, but we coming into a situation where this is LeBron and AD's kind of team, and they 1A, 1B, right? I don't know if Russ is going to take a back seat to that because we know Russ likes to run the show. He is the show, basically.
But
don't know
I
how
hear that argument, AJ. But my thing
Mhm.
about it, I'll say this, and you tell me what you think about this, because people will
Go
say
ahead.
they don't know about him taking a back seat. What do you think he did in Houston with James Harden, and even in Washington with Bradley Beal? I thought, in my opinion, I thought he played a different type of role playing on side of James Harden in Houston, and even going to the Wizards, you know, knowing that was Bradley Beal's team, so to speak. I think Russ would definitely take a back seat if he really want to win a championship.
Well, this is my counter argument to that. Those weren't winning situations. Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially in DC, where there's pride on the line, and he's at home in LA, and he want to prove a point. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
In Houston, it was like he took that back seat, but he ain't like it, and he left. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't stand the fact that it was James Harden's show, and he had to wait to be Russ. Do you know what I'm saying? It looked like they were going to work, but we keep forgetting the time that they were in OKC was a way different time. That was what, 2012, like when they wasn't fully realized stars yet. They both won MVP at this point. They both got egos. They both feel like they know how to run the show. So when you put that dynamic together, they may like give up a few quarters, but when it come money time, then that's when it becomes an issue. And Russ kind of had to carry James Harden disappear, and he became frustrated because D'Antoni was centering everything still around James. So he left, and he did his triple-double thing in Washington, you know, which I will always respect. But my point is, you coming into LeBron's team, and we know that he's the system. Like, we run in the game through him. As much as I'm a Kobe head, I can admit that, you know, it's LeBron's team, and he helped us win that 2020 championship. I don't know how Russ is like, he's going to have to kind of change in a way, you know what I mean? Or pick his spots to kind of be that dynamic player that we know him to be, because everybody seemed to think that that point guard spot position is filled now because we got him. But what we're not understanding is when LeBron's getting double teamed in the playoffs, like what was happening last season, and nobody was cutting to the rim, who's going to cut? Is Russ going to cut like that? Like, I don't know. I need to see how it works. I love him as an individual player when he running it. But in a system setting, I don't know if he's going to be okay with taking a back seat to Braun and AD. Like, how's that going to work? Who's going to be the third wheel? Like, it's a chemistry thing to me. So I need to see how that's going to work, which is why I agree with your statement that maybe the Christmas game might be an important game, but we need to figure out what Lakers we getting at this point. Are they all going to share the ball and be Showtime Lakers, or is it going to be a whole bunch of one-on-ones at different points on the floor?
Right.
You know what I mean? So we got to see how that's going to figure out. We're going to see.
No, I agree 100%. But my thing about it is Russell Westbrook, even though he's been the triple-double year after year, he's been the NBA MVP before, his name has been in the conversation along with Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, is possibly going down as probably the greatest player in the NBA to never win a championship. His name has been threatened to be in that group or that category for the last couple of years. And I think this opportunity, man, when you look at the overall body of work, even though they went to the championship in 2012, to play Miami, this may be Russ's best opportunity at his mature of his skill set of his career and at the prime of his career to win a championship. And at least for 1 year, man, I don't think that he will allow his pride to screw that up, especially when you're looking at what these other teams in the NBA have done. AJ, where the hell else is Russell Westbrook going to go that he's going to be able to like lead a team by himself, or, you know, like this is tailor-made for him. He can't screw
this is what I was saying. Well, this is what I was saying. This is how we all looking at it. I'm pretty sure he's thought about it that way. But this is Russ, man. Like, he's going to go down in a way that Iverson did. Everybody's going to love him off the court for what he did and his contributions. He stayed true to himself. You know what I mean? He didn't really leave his boys hanging, etc. Right. When he came to that game on the court, he was legendary for the thing that he was good at, but he could never adjust to actually fit in a system and allow that system to be the reason why he won. I don't know if he's able to step aside and be like, okay, I can't be the reason why we win, but I can help out and be part of the reason why we win. That's the struggle with West. Are you going to be a part of a winning situation, or do you want to be the reason why the team wins?
Outside of chemistry, do you have any fears in the Western Conference? Do you look at any team in the West and feel like they're a real threat to the Lakers if the Lakers are healthy and chemistry is worked out? Do you look at any team feeling like they're a major threat coming out of the West?
That's a really good question. Nobody's talking about Golden State, which for some reason I find that really odd. If you have Draymond, Clay, and Steph on the floor, like, you gotta be careful of them because they've got all the chemistry down packed already. They know how to do this already. Thanks. They've won a championship with just them and supporting cast players before. Thanks. Nobody's really doing their research on that or understanding that they've been here before. Thanks. Clay had to sit out for 2 years. He is pissed. We know what a pissed off Klay Thompson can do. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we got to be careful of teams like that. The Suns, again, like, they've just gotten all the way to the finals and lost. We got to be careful of a few sleeper teams. I'm going to call Golden State and the Suns like the sleeper teams, where it's like, if we come in there thinking we're just going to blitz and go on one-on-one all game, we will lose. Do you know what I mean? Them are the teams that's going to catch us because they are actual teams. Do you feel what I'm saying? Absolutely. We've got a great collection of players. We're not a team yet. So I will still bet on the Lakers to come out because I expect everybody to get it together, especially Melo, that hasn't won nothing. Right. Do you know what I'm saying? And West, who ain't won nothing. Like, when you in that situation, I think you're right in the sense of, like, they understand that this is a great situation to be in, but they all got pride. They all in their 30s. They set in their ways. We need to become a team first.